That one just tastes like burning. Ugh. Yeah.
What's up, you guys? It is Jordan here with LSYouth Presents Hot Ones. We are here today with an amazing guest. He is not only the resident fitness expert on campus, but he's also one of our senior pastors, head designer. Welcome to the table, Pastor James. What's up, man? How you feeling today? You ready to take on the wings of death?
Sure.
Are you a spicy guy or not really?
Yeah, I eat a lot of spicy stuff.
You eat a lot of spicy stuff? All right, well, that means it's time for the first wing. There we go. Not too bad. It's a good wing. It's a good wing. So, you were a child of the 80s, and some say that was the greatest time to be a kid. What was your go-to Saturday morning cartoon?
Man, He-Man for sure. Yeah, I grew up watching He-Man.
He-Man Masters of the Universe?
Yeah.
I got you. All right, so when you did that, what was the go? You had a snack routine? You had a routine on your Saturday mornings, or what's up?
Yeah, cereal pretty much every time.
Cereal every time? Just
yeah,
solid.
my mom wouldn't buy the sugar stuff, so I had to eat Cheerios all the time. That was it.
All right, so there you have it, folks. He-Man and Cheerios, that's the go-to. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead with the second wing. While we do that, we're gonna say, since you're around in the 80s, you're also a really big gamer on campus, and you even built your own arcade game. What was the go-to game when you were growing up, and where was the go-to spot for it?
Probably Street Fighter 2, and we used to play at the arcade at Texas City before that mall turned into what it is. I don't know what it is now, but they used to have an arcade there, and that's where we would all, people back in the day, if you had next, you would line up quarters on the front of the machine, and then be a line of kids just waiting to play. So yeah, it's called Tilt.
All right, so Tilt, Texas City. Now that is home to a wrestling arena. So, we've moved. All right, so on to the next wing, right here. But you're known as a guy on campus who always has a clean fade, no matter where. And I know the way you did that is you learned how to cut your own hair. What's that about?
So I started when I was 13. My dad used to cut my hair, but then he was like, look, I ain't cutting your hair every day, so you're gonna have to figure it out yourself. So I actually got a kid in my neighborhood to come over and let me guinea pig on him. And I messed his fade up real bad a couple times, but he didn't care. So little by little, I got a little bit better at it, a little bit better. And by the time I was in high school, I was fading up almost every kid in the high school. I had 30-something kids coming through my house getting fades.
Snap.
So yeah, just kind of out of necessity. You just gotta learn.
And what's the secret to cutting your own hair?
Just doing it a bunch, I guess. Messing up and doing it again and messing up and doing it again until you eventually get it right. And then I use a mirror, so that's kind of tricky.
I got you. All right, so that's the secret. So on to our next wing. Let's see how this one goes. So you've been in pretty good shape most of your life. We've seen a lot of pictures of you from when you were growing up. You've always been, in shape, but you always had this weird go-to meal. I just wanted you to explain the go-to meal that we see you eating in the kitchen all the time.
So it was partly because it's got good protein and omega oils and stuff like that, but it's basically just tuna fish out of the can. Mm-hmm. And then I started eating out of the can just because when I lived by myself, I didn't have any silverware, and I don't know how to cook. So I just bought a can opener, and I would just cut the can open and just eat the tuna straight out of it, throw the can away. You don't have to do any dishes. You don't have to know how to cook. You get all the protein you need for the day. So if you went to my pantry, it was just stacks and stacks of cans of tuna. And then I would just drink water. So, it's easy if bachelor life, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a weird burp. Anyway, but I've heard you took it a step further as you got older. You got a little more interesting with it.
Yeah, so I made a concoction with, you take hickory flavored tuna, put it on a plate, and break up some crackers and throw it in there, and then you take honey and put honey all over the top of it. It looks nasty, kind of like cat food, but it actually tastes really good. I think it stinks like cat food also, so if you eat it in the house with anybody, they're gonna complain.
Well, That's the key, guys. The tuna.
You gotta evolve.
The tuna and the honey. That's it. All right, it's time for the next wing right here. So right now is our segment where we go on Instagram and take a deep dive because we want to know a little bit more context on the picture that you showed. And right now, here's our picture that we had. It's a picture of you preparing for a fight because not only are you a warrior on this campus, you were a warrior in a ring. What was that about?
So when I was like in my early 20s, I had a next door neighbor that owns a karate school, and he came over just randomly one day and was like, "Hey, you wanna fight for me in a tournament?" And I was like, "Sure."
You take a dub or?
Yeah, I knocked a guy out in the second round. He had snot bubbles coming out, the whole thing. I wouldn't consider myself pro, that's for sure, but definitely an amateur. But it was fun. Fighting is a really cool experience. It's hard to explain, but it's like you're like all by yourself, and it's very mental, you know what I'm saying? So like to come out on the other side of that was a really fun. That picture was actually me right after the fight. That's why I'm all like red from taking shots.
Yeah. Well, snap. That's a cool little picture that we got. On to our next wing. We're on the back half now. We're halfway done.
Okay.
All right, let's try this one. Yep, so, you know, when you got out of high school, you like went to design school, right? Mm-hmm. What led you to design? How'd you get there?
I grew up liking cartoons and video games, and my dad didn't know anything about it, but he was supportive. He was like, "Look, if you want to do that for a career, go ahead. You just got to go. I don't know nothing about it, so you got to go figure it out." So I went and found a college in Houston that taught it, and enrolled, and just kind of winged it.
I got you. So, just designing, learning little by little, because you know everything that you see on this campus, 9 times out of 10, Pastor James has been working on it, and he just comes up with the craziest things. So that's really cool. Time for the next wing, the bomb. This one's famous.
Are you definitely getting hotter?
Yeah, that's that's a spicy one.
That one just tastes like burning. Ugh. Yeah.
So we found out that you've been on staff here at the church for about 15 years. What was it like when you first got here? And do you have any memories from that first week?
I came on part-time to like edit their TV show. That thing is fire, dude. Dang, we got 3 to go after that? Y'all wild. So yeah, I came on to edit the TV show. I was part-time. And then my responsibilities just kind of grew a little bit, you know, each year. A little bit more, a little bit more. You ready to go into the milk?
Yeah, oh God, I feel like death.
Yo, that should have been the last one.
Ooh. You know, like I'm trying to talk and I can't.
Jeez. Definitely took too many bites of that.
I can't hear anything.
Just ringing in your ears?
Yeah, is that what you got? Am I alone in that?
No, but if I stop drinking water, I definitely...
I'm gonna get some more water on that. We're about to bump it up a whole nother level. And we're back with Hot Ones LSYouth Edition. The bomb is not fun.
It was hot, dude.
That was intense, but on to the next one. So let's pick up Magnum 357.
Let's go a little smaller here.
And it still got me. You also designed super dope websites, including our church website, things like that. What do you think the key to designing a website is?
Just knowing like what your client wants and really paying attention to what they need. That's probably one of the hardest things for artists. But yeah, just paying attention to trends, checking out other sites that you like, stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
So.
I've jumped, you know what? I'd rather jump off the scissor lift 3 more times into the insulation.
Hey, listen, this is your idea.
Yeah, no, this is all on me. Entirely. Alrighty, so we talked about websites a little bit, and now on to the next swing. Are you ready?
Sure. No, but sure.
That just didn't even taste good.
No, they pretty much just taste like burning.
So, you know, we talked about your life a little bit and how you grew up. And one of the ones I think, questions that I think is really interesting that we haven't got to is how did you end up like even finding your faith?
Well, I had a good family, you know, that even though we didn't really have anything, I think the most important thing is that you have parents that care for you and take care of you. My parents cared for me. They always took care of me. They took me to church all the time, you know, and I always had people, even though I wasn't necessarily on a good path in my life and I was kind of a delinquent and I had a different environment, you know, but I always had good people in my life, you know, speaking into me, telling me that I was gonna do things for God, stuff like that. And that goes a long way, you know, that sticks with kids. So when you hear that stuff at a young age, you remember it when you get older, you know what I'm saying? So even though I kind of, I don't know, got off the path sometimes, I always felt like I kind of came back. But yeah, that's how I found faith at a young age.
Super cool.
Oh, last one.
Well, you're here. We're the last one, last dab. It's tradition around here to put a little extra on the last wing. You don't have to. Sorry, if I could see.
We already came this far. Yikes.
Well, this is it. Setting you up for your final question.
Yo, this is thick, dude. This is like honey. Okay.
It's like the worst honey you're ever gonna eat.
Ready?
No. So, now you stare down the 10 hottest wings in the planet. I need you to rank these 10 80s hits from best to worst. The Goonies, Karate Kid, Back to the Future, Teen Wolf, The Princess Bride, E.T., Ghostbusters, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Rocky, and The Terminator. What do you think?
So we're going worst to best?
Worst to best.
Worst to best. All right, I'm probably gonna go with, man, these are all pretty good. Worst for me, probably Teen Wolf, Princess Bride, probably Ferris Bueller's. Then I would say, Back to the Future, E.T., Ghostbusters, Rocky, Goonies, Terminator, then Karate Kid.
Okay, so Karate Kid is always on top.
Yeah, for me, it definitely came out when I was like, you know, an 8-year-old. So he was kind of like a hero.
I got you.
When I was 8.
So, big question is though, who was the hero of that story?
Well, I mean, you know, that's controversial. So it could be Johnny. You know, you never know.
Johnny's my
Depends on
Karate Kid. I wouldn't root for the guy from New Jersey. Anyway, we have this camera and this camera and this camera here. Pastor James, what do you want to promote on LSYouth Hot Ones?
Don't do everything that you're dared to do. It could be a really bad idea and you can end up throwing up.
You heard it here first. Don't do everything you're dared to do. We love you guys. We'll see you later. My mouth is like a boiler. Everything in me to finish my bite.
Bro,
I'll say that.
helps, you know?
Editing, yeah. I'm telling you, there ain't no way they do it straight. No way.
Not a chance.
Maybe Halle Berry.
Yeah, she was a true.
You can do anything.
Oh
We lost him.
I'm sorry. I literally couldn't do anything. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Cut.